Okay.
So we're now recording Sekai, and let me say to anybody listening in that I am Brian Speers, the President of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, and I was greatly disappointed not to have been able to visit Sekai Holland at the Midland State University in order to deliver a teaching program on mediation and conflict resolution jointly with Sekai. And I thought I would catch up with you today to see how you're coping and how the lockdown is treating you, and also just to share generally about how things are going in Zimbabwe. So first of all, I say greetings, Sekai. You're looking well, very splendidly turned out for this discussion.
Well, it's a big occasion. April is a long time back. And with the COVID environment that we are now living in, everything has to happen inside the house or just outside within our enclosure. So I was really looking forward to our next discussion because so much has happened since our last discussion. And I really want to say this up front. Your 2 visits, you said, it's like a visitor coming and people cleaning up and making sure that they give their best. Well, we have been doing that since your first visit, your second visit, and the energy you injected in us has now taken us on a stratosphere where we have achieved things which we never thought were possible. Okay, the program that you were going to come to do at MSU, now that we missed that opportunity to do it because of the work we are now doing at community level with
Yes.
MSU staff, with a very brilliantly talented women in the Women's Bank, Microfinance Bank, women in the UNDP, and we are working with communities, doing social mobilization for skills training. We do that for entrepreneurship in your home, with cottage industries in your home and selling your things. There's so many things you can sell in the street, across the street, online.
Yes.
And so we get Wi-Fi. It's really exciting what you have made us think we can do, which if you had never visited, we would be sitting with every Zimbabwean moaning and groaning, and we use the Australian word whinging. We're not whinging. You have no time to whinge. There is so much to do.
The Australians, of course, normally say that's a whinging palm, but I haven't heard a whinging Zimbabwean, but I'm sure they exist, Sekai. Well, I mean, you are obviously still well, and that's excellent, and your family, and you've got the ability to do work with your social enterprises. What about the big picture, the rule of law and the emergency powers? How do you find them being handled?
Very badly, but I want to put it in context, which I've always told you, and which no one wants to really believe. Violence in Zimbabwe is no longer just in the hands of the state. In my time, we talked about state-sponsored violence, and it was real, and that's what there was there. Now, what I've always emphasized to people is that institutions are now engaged in resolving also their own differences internally using violence, and across institutions using violence. So that is on the increase. And what we know is that we simply must go back into our own roots to understand what violence was in those societies. And what we know is that the greetings, the food culture, the marriage rights, all those things, the death rights, death in our society unites people. And when somebody has died, we say, wafa wanaka, which means that the person who has died, now you can only see their best aspects. Just as when a child is born, you just see their beauty and the gifts they've come up with and the joy they give to very different families because we are exogamous. Now, today, I'm shocked at what we are saying about dead. And for me, it's taboo. You just have to look at the dead and lessons that they live for you. And there are many. So the general is deteriorating. It's very bad. The hunger and the starvation, that's all really bad. However, there are many, 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 many very important initiatives all around us. And hopefully they will reconnect themselves and bring change. The government itself has lots and lots of small, really important programs it's also doing. But because there is no good communication between and among Zimbabwean institutions and within institutions, people just see the negative. Well, because we, on everybody's case, we go to office, we talk to everybody, we see the beauty that people are doing, and that's what we pick. And
well, it's really, it's really great, Sekai, that you've been given some freedom and some space to do your work with other social groups and other organizations to help alleviate some of the hunger and poverty that you describe. Do you remain optimistic, completely pessimistic? Where are you on the scale of hopefulness at just the present?
Certainly, some things for us to do have opened up, unlike under the Mugabe rule. Under this new dispensation, we are finding that we take our programs to the different ministries, to the different agencies. This is what we are doing, and we are finding that there are areas where we can hook in and work with others. Ours is to resuscitate the All Women's Clubs development model, which was started in 1938. And we are finding that today, it actually works very well in a different environment and in a modernized version. That's what we are doing. But we are also using research to get ourselves evidence-based facts about each community we are going into, and we are men in one club instead of the number 30 we have.
Yes.
Men.
And you've got some marvelous people to help in that.
Well, you met most of them.
Yes.
And we are working much closer now with everybody you met.
Yes, I'm going to say that's a fascinating insight, Sekai. One of the difficulties is the the quality of the internet signal. So rather than lose any more of what you said, I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll continue our discussion. But I wish you well in all that marvelous work with your team that you're doing, and look forward to chatting on with you after this recording has stopped. So I'll stop recording now.